unqualified morons playing tabletop. This is the Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hi, welcome to the Gateway Gamers podcast. I'm Brian,
And I'm RP.
and this is a podcast where a veteran like me introduces the world of gaming to a noob.
Like me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm ready to close out our season 3 summer blockbuster extravaganza.
Yeah, it was a fun project, but it was definitely taxing for sure. I think it was tough to do. Yeah, it was a lot. I think we may have bit off a little more than we could chew.
Amateurs
than we
always
expected,
do.
I think. Yeah, I always have big plans and are able to execute it all the time.
Yeah, but hey, we tried and we finished, and that's what matters. And I hope you guys
we had
enjoyed
fun.
it. We did have fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, learned something new about a board game, about a movie, and about us. So that's always kind of our goal.
Yeah. So this episode is just like a countdown. If you've been following us for a while, you kind of know we kind of rank by seasons. Not really seasons, just kind of how we break it up. Just makes it easier for us. We usually do a top 10 after our 10 games. That's the end of the season. We'll rank the 10 games, do a little banner, kind of talk about if we played the games again. So we're just going to rank the Blockbuster Summer, which was only 7 games.
Yep.
So we're just going to kind of rank the 7 games that we played.
Yeah. Pretty simple.
Yeah, easy peasy. Everyone loves a ranking. Everyone loves a list. So
for the most part,
these are easy episodes.
Yeah.
They're actually well listened to, surprisingly.
Hey, we give what the fans what they want.
That's right.
Some people just like a little season recap. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm curious to see where our rankings kind of align. I think we might be a little simpatico here.
I think our highest rank and our lowest rank might be the same. I'm curious about the middle.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. All right. So let's start off. We'll start off with number 7. My number 7 is Alien: Fate of the Nostromo.
And so is mine.
Yeah, I figured. So Alien: Fate of the Nostromo by Ravensburger Games. I'm just going to go over why it's ranked so low on my list. I think it's just the theme wasn't there.
Yeah, it was a roll and move game. There was a little components, but there, as we talked about kind of extensively on the episode, what they could have done to make a better game and make it more stressful, like the movie, or things of that nature that really ooze the theme of the film into the board game, and it was lacking for sure. So compared to everything else, it really was just a very forgettable game at a higher price point.
Yeah, so if you listen to us, you kind of know we love a good themed game, especially when it's IP related. We love when they can stick that landing of this feels like the movie and this components wise. And I feel like this one just kind of, and it's funny because we got messages afterwards from listeners and on Instagram of people saying this is more of a kid's game. It's a big box store, family friendly game, which is fine. It's true because there are other Alien games out there that are more cutthroat. And I don't know. It just, maybe I'll play those games, but this one was on the shelf. I grabbed it and it was just lackluster. It just wasn't up my alley for what it was. It was, like you said, it's just kind of a move, collect things, go here, go there. There wasn't much else to do. There was different scenarios for replayability, but I just don't want to replay.
Yeah, I don't want to take this game off the shelf. I don't want you to bring it over to my house again.
I think it's going to get purged. It's going to be part of the purge pile. I have a pile that I'm going to get rid of this week.
I understand. And not to totally like kind of poo-poo it, I want to give a little prop to it in the art. The art, fantastic on the cards. And other than that,
yeah, like I said, it was just a theme that killed it. It just, it was
100%.
It was not oozing theme. It was very dry. It was, what's the opposite of oozing? It was dry, bitter theme.
It was dried up and wrinkled.
Yeah, it was like when you get Play-Doh and you haven't played for a while and the lid was off, just crusty.
So we have number 7, the crusty Alien: Fate of the Nostromo.
From Ravensburger. Yep. All right, hit us with number 6.
So number 6, I think we're going to be a little different here. I have Jurassic Park Unmatched at number 6. and I know you.
Okay.
And as you sit there and you make a face of laughing, I hated this game. I wanted this game to be over quicker than the Jurassic World movies, but it just didn't do it for me. I know you really liked it. It favored you in mechanics and the gameplay, and it just never favored the T-Rex. And
Hmm.
art components, great. The pieces that go with it are awesome. However, gameplay left a lot to be desired in my mouth, and it's a taste that I don't ever want to taste again. It's like
Hmm.
trying liverwurst, thinking you think it's going to be good, but it's not. I'm sorry to the people that like liverwurst, but
Yeah.
uh,
So I'm not surprised. And to be fair, you don't like Unmatched at all because we
no,
have played another version and you just weren't into it. It's just for whatever reason it just doesn't click for you.
I'd rather play Monopoly for 3 hours with you than play Unmatched.
Wow. Oof. That's controversial. We might have to cut that out, Audrey. That's
Yet it's not as bad as Alien. It's just not.
okay. Yeah, that's fair. Alien was that bad.
I'd
All right,
like,
my number
yeah,
six and was the Wizard of Oz adventure book game.
okay.
And this was tough because I was very favorable towards this game. I enjoyed it. I thought it was well made. It just it just was like a kids game, which I'll never we played it, we beat it. I'm kind of done with it, and that was kind of why it's so like low on my list. Only because it's just a game that won't hit my table ever again. And
That's
it's not to
fair.
say anything about the quality of the game. It's just on the list of the seven, that's where it lies.
Hey, I totally understand that. That game is very simple. It's exactly what it needs to be, but it oozed theme, and so that's why I had
Yeah.
it a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Um,
So we'll go with number five. So my number five is Back to the Future, Back in Time from Funko Games.
and that is also my number five.
Okay, so that worked out.
Simply because I have it not second to last because the theme is incredible. Everything,
Mhm.
the components, the theming of the board, the cards, the little pieces, the manual, the DeLorean, and then even the mechanics for the most part work well. Game is just incredibly difficult, and it's not something I enjoy. I enjoy a challenge. This game seemed impossible, and you have given it a fair shake and have gone again, and you still
Mhm.
stand by that stance that this game is really hard.
Very
And
hard.
I want to love it because I love the art. I love everything that makes me love a game, except it's just too difficult. And when I'm at this point in my life where if something is too difficult, I won't enjoy it. I got to a point with, a video game and I just turned the difficulty down because I was enjoying the story mode and it just became like I didn't put it on like toddler mode, but like, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I'm here for a good time, not to be stressed out, like to a degree where when we originally like were playing Thanos Rising, that was a challenge because we kept getting so close and then losing. And I was like, oh my God, I wanted that taste. But this, we didn't even crack it 60 miles an hour.
No.
We just were so it was just so hard and felt like a game that is unwinnable, in my
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, this was a game where when you and I played like 4 or 5 rounds in, we kind of knew.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where it was disheartening because it was like as we talked about in our review, you have to get like the DeLorean to a certain spot, you have to get this heart meter up to a certain spot. If it was one or the other, it might have been more obtainable. But having all those moving pieces with a limited time meter where we were literally able to look and be like, there's no way we can move the DeLorean this many moves.
Yeah.
And we knew the game was over. And that was disheartening. As you said, I've played it solo a couple times now. I played it at least twice after we reviewed it. And it was the same thing. Like I got to a certain point where I'm just like, this isn't happening. Like, and I don't know like why. And I thought maybe we were doing something wrong. I kind of like went back into rules. I watched videos. I'm like, nope, it's just that hard. Other people have commented that's a challenging game, and it's not impossible, but it is very challenging. And as you said, with a limited time I have for gaming, it's not something I want to do.
Yeah.
Well,
You
funny
don't
enough, with video games, like you said, I play every game on easy now. I'm at that point in my life now. Like I was playing I downloaded Sniper Elite, and like Megan, my wife, was kind of watching me, and she's just like, this seems like I was getting shot by like 80 bullets and like running around living. And I was like, I have it on easy mode. I was like, I don't care enough to be like,
Yeah.
because if you play in a hard mode, you're a sniper and you need to like, there's a wind gauge. Like you have to really
Holy
anticipate the
crap.
wind, and you have to like create a noise to distract people. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna, I'm literally
Yeah.
standing in a field just shooting, and they're like, where is he?
Yeah, I just play games now on like medium because or even if it's like it gets to a point like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Jedi Order or
Okay.
whatever the heck that game was, that the fighting in that game was so difficult that it became unenjoyable for me. Where I was
Mm-hmm.
like I this is my free time. It's supposed to be fun. I like a challenge. Okay, I die 4 times fighting a boss. That's fine.
Yeah.
But when I'm sitting there for 2 hours, and it's just some people love that, and more
Yeah.
power to them. And I understand that drive. Oh, you really want to feel challenged, but at this point in my life, I don't need that kind of challenge in a
Mm-hmm.
something that's supposed to be fun. Um, I like I think some sports games they're challenging, and I enjoy that because if I lose, I just go to the next game. But I'm with you, man. I'm here for story, enjoying my time that I have, and not getting frustrated to the point where I feel a game is impossible, and that's how I feel with
Yeah.
Back to the Future, Back in Time.
Yeah. And this game it's hitting my perch pile. I love it. I love Funko. I love Prospero Hall. I love the production. We raved about how much I love this game, but I don't want to bring it back out for all the reasons we kind of said. Like I don't, with my limited gaming time, I don't want to be bummed out. I don't want to bring out a game and be like, all right, let's do our best, and within 5 rounds, I know we're not going to win, and we still have 10 more rounds to go. It's
Yeah,
just, yeah, it's just not for me.
uphill battle for sure. So that is number 5, Back to the Future, Back in Time.
Mhm.
So what do you have for number 4?
Number 4, I have Fast and Furious Highway Heist,
Okay, why?
which I'm surprised it's even that low. In the beginning of the summer, if you would have said this is like my one of not, I guess not top, it's kind of in the middle, I would have never suspected it. I I just really enjoyed this game. We played it a couple times. We played it with your friends, your wife played, you and I've played at least twice. I think after reviewing, I think we kind of
Yeah,
played it again.
yeah, we did.
It's just a fun game, man. It just really is. And it's Prospero Hall and Funko. It oozes theme, but it's also fun and it is challenging, as we talked
Hmm.
about, but
And
not impossible.
yeah, it's a good challenge. You feel like you are on the cusp of losing it or winning it every single game, and
Hmm.
that's a fun challenge. And it
Hmm.
really, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just I think it's the reason it is so low. It's just it it just wasn't a gateway kind of game. Like if you know
Yeah.
what I mean, it was a lot of moving pieces, a lot of it's not a game where I could pull out and just be like, hey guys, let's play this real quick. And that's the
Hmm.
only reason it got bumped up. Other than that, it would have been lower. But I mean, I was shocked how much I enjoyed this game.
Nice. My number 4 is The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Storybook adventure game because a lot of the things that you said, I did think it was relatively simple. I thought it was a good game that you could kind of play collectively. It's absolutely a gateway game. This is for really anybody can play this game. Almost zero reading, all symbols, all colors. This thing oozes theme unbelievably for me while keeping it simple and fun. A
Hmm.
decent price point. I think you get a lot. I think it looks good on your shelf and fun for the whole family, just like the film. So for that reason, and especially because of the gateway game, like you can introduce this to anybody, and they
Yeah.
would they would get it, and that's why it's geared that way and produced perfectly. There's nothing in the game. The only challenging part was the last level, and I will say to a degree when we've played this again, we were just kind of go, it's okay. Like if
Yeah.
we don't beat because it's not something that I like to play because of the challenge of it. It's just something I like to play because I like the IP. Take Wizard of Oz out of this, don't know if it's that high.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It was good. It's a good, as you said, just kind of pull off the shelf. And because it is level based, you could be like, hey, let's try this level out.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
don't have to flow through the whole story.
And easy to stop and start as well. So like you play two chapters one night or one chapter a night, and you have a game that lasts you a week with
Mm-hmm.
your kids or your spouse or yourself. Like it doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
matter. So for that reason, my number four is The Wizard of Oz.
Okay. And then who makes that? Ravensburger, right?
Hmm.
All right. So number three. My number three is Unmatched Jurassic Park from Mondo and Restoration Games. I like the Unmatched system. I
Hmm.
know you're not hot on it, but I like the Unmatched games, not just this one. This one, I think it was kind of lackluster, to be honest, of all the Unmatched I played, but I still enjoy the mechanics of it. I enjoy the production of it. I love the theme, and I played this game without you with my game group. I love mixing the T-Rex with the other themes. So I like having Bloody Mary and the T-Rex versus Deadpool and Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So like the box alone it's fine, which is tough to like gauge, but I like the system itself as well. And that's why it
I
kind of
get that.
falls. So yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, no, it was whatever for you. I don't for
Uh,
just in a hit.
yeah, it just for me it just didn't do it, and it's not just that one. It's the I think it's the game in itself,
Yeah.
but the mix and match and just like Funkoverse is very cool and leads to unlimited replayability.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
for
I'm
that,
learning that's like my favorite thing is being able to mix and match stuff. We kind of talked about before, like you said, Funkoverse, Disney Sorcerer's Arena. Like I love that. Like mixing Disney
looking
characters. I'm
forward
starting to
to
realize
that.
like that's my itch that I like to scratch in
That's
games.
always been mine. Like that's why I loved Kingdom Hearts growing up, and
Mm,
why the idea of
Smash Brothers
Smash
and
Brothers or Jimmy Timmy Power Hour for kids that grew up in the '90s, early 2000s, and even like the Avengers movies, like bringing them
yep,
all together. That's my thing too. And definitely an itch I like scratched. So for that reason, that is your number four, Unmatched.
3.
Number three, Unmatched Jurassic Park.
Yep.
My number three is Jaws.
Okay.
Um, when we played this game, I had not seen the movie in a very long time. After watching the movie, after we played, just seeing this game oozes theme, unbelievably like water, coming into a sinking ship. I don't know what you want me to say. But I'm trying to think of something that works. I can't. I'm blanking right now, guys. It's
That's fine.
Tuesday. It's a Tuesday
We're too
night.
far gone.
Yeah. But it's just incredible the multifacets of that game where there's the shore part, and then when you're on the boat, that game was just incredible. The mechanic was great, relatively designed simply with the pieces, but the art on the maps incredible, and
Mm.
I just loved it. The flipping of the pieces, the cards, and the component of the hidden shark was so cool. In a game that we haven't played again, but a game that I would really enjoy playing again because I feel like I never really got my bearings or my sea legs, as some might say,
Mm.
while playing that game.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll wait to talk about it when it's my turn to talk about it. But you'll hear I agree.
so
I
what?
concur.
So with that, what is your number two?
So my number two is Jaws from
Okay,
Ravensburger.
there you go.
Um, for all the things that you said plus more, I think I've played hidden role games before, where one character plays, as I said, a hidden role. You don't really know where they're moving, and they work, but like the theme of it doesn't really work for me. I'm trying to think which ones I played. I played like there was like I think Fury of Dracula, I think it's called, where you're like Dracula being hunted by. It's very similar, but there's a lot more to it.
Okay.
And that's why I like this game. It's a lot simpler, and I like that it's, as you mentioned, it's basically two games in one. The first part of the game, one player is playing as a shark, the other player is playing as Brody, Hooper, and Quint, trying to find where the shark is. They all have their different mechanics that thematically fit, while the shark is just kind of moving around. And it's a nice puzzle of like, where is this character going? where you got to go. Like it really works, and it's a good game where, as we kind of learned, if you're not paying attention, the shark can really run away because you kind of made some really silly mistakes that you might not make again if we played, which I think the game needs to come out soon. And then the second part being so much smaller in scale when you're just on a boat and I'm popping up at certain spots and you're kind of deciding where to put your people and what weapons to use. It's real. It was really fun. Like I knew I would enjoy that game, but I really walked away loving that game.
Mm-hmm. It was a great game to kick this season 3 off.
Mm-hmm.
Too, as being the first blockbuster movie, really, and then being our first game. So that is my number 3, your number 2.
Jaws from Ravensburger's game.
Cool. My number 2 is Fast and Furious Highway Heist. Really liked the components of this game. This was a game, like I said in the episode, I kind of sat and waited on, and I'm glad I waited on it, and we kind of went through it together because it was a lot to unpack. And I think that it's not necessarily a negative against it, but it is daunting and intimidating, especially as we are the gateway gamers. It's not a gateway game. It's a tough game, but it's not necessarily tough. It's just there's a lot to it. And as you saw in that episode, that was one of our longest episodes of just explaining the game, because that's how long it is. Like there's a lot to it. But once you get going, it's great. You know, it's just like the films. It's a lot to take in, but once it gets going, you're like buckle in. I'm ready. And
where you and I sat and did like a lot of research to learn it together, and like we watched YouTube videos, we read the instructions before we really grasped it. And once we got, like you said, once we got going, we did great. Mm-hmm. When we taught it to your friends, it went great. So I think if it's a game where if you have somebody that plays it, it could help.
Yeah.
But it's a game where, as we kind of talked about it, if you're just a Fast and Furious fan and not a game fan, you're going to be like, what is this?
Yeah. So that is my biggest slight against it, is that, and I'm judging these on how we played him and how we played him in the season, not replayability or anything. This is a game that I don't want to take out again. Nothing against it. It's just, it's a lot. I forget the rules kind of relatively easily. There's other games that I play a lot that I know, or I can just go watch a 3-minute video and learn the rules real quick, where this is kind of a daunting task. And I know if I got it out and I started to explain it, it would come naturally, but this is one that I was very much okay with purging and giving to somebody who might enjoy it and bring it out more. It's just, it's a lot. And like I said, we don't really get that much time. So when I do get this time, I don't want to take 45 minutes setting up a game to then play it. And that is a slight, but also you can applaud Funko Games for putting that much effort into a game that you can now get for like $9. Yeah. And so it shows
I think the other day I saw on Amazon, it was like $8.
Yeah. And but it just shows that every single game they do, they put in the time and the effort. And that's and you could see it in the play, in like the game, the art, how the game flows. Like they're just so good at what they do. And it's really awesome to see that. And that's really all we did this summer was Funko and Ravensburger. And I think they're two of the best, and joints of Prospero Hall. And I think they do that really well. And I think that was perfect to highlight them for Blockbuster Summer. So that's half the reason. I think it's a great game. I really do. I was blown away by the game. And for that, my initial reaction, and when we replayed it, I enjoyed it. However, it is a lot, and that is a slight knock on it. But if you're a veteran gamer out there and you're like, I can knock that out, good for you, and definitely try this game.
Yeah.
But for the shock value that it gave to us, and being a fan of the franchise, and the art and the gameplay and just really everything, I have that at number 2, Fast and Furious Highway Heist.
Yeah. So I mean, luckily for us, there'll probably be a Fast and Furious movie every like 2 years for the next like 30 years, so we could bring it out then, like every new movie. Fast and Furious 28, we could pop it out.
Well, we could just take it out, and by the time we're done setting the game up and reading the instructions, the next one will be out.
Yeah, Fast and Furious 29 will be out. All right, so that's your number 2.
So that
my
means
number 1, actually both of our number 1,
number 1, Harry Potter,
Hogwarts Battle.
Yeah, this game's amazing. Um, Probably one of the best games we've played on this show. Definitely in the top 10 of the games we've played on the show. And number one this summer. Being a huge
Mhm.
Harry Potter fan, it everything we talked about. It just really everything we talked about. Being a huge Harry Potter fan, seeing everything from the movie that you know and love. Biggest light movie stills, but what are you going to do? That's kind of a
Mhm.
thing that USApoly does, though. That's kind of their thing, and anything with Harry Potter, it is movie stills, and I don't.
Yeah, it has to be a
I,
licensing thing
I
somehow.
I guess because of like the illustrated versions with the books, I would assume there's some licensing, but gameplay mechanics, um, just the flow of the game, the cards, like just the deck building aspect of it is really super cool and going through the years. And I cannot say enough about this game. I love it so much. Higher price point, and for me, that's a big selling point for me with any game. Absolutely worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, everything you said. The game just works. I got this game kind of when it first came out, introduced to my wife, and she loved it. So I mean, that's a huge bump on my list. When I could bring this game out and be like, hey, you want to play Harry Potter deck? We've played it a lot. I have great memories with her playing and beating this game. We have played it since, even after beating it, we've brought it out and played again. We have introduced this game to non-gamer friends who fell in love with it. Like it's just such a easy, even if they didn't get to, as you said, the later years where it does ramp up a difficulty. We've played like the first 3 4 years and they love it. I'm just like, yep, this is a game. It's not Monopoly. Like it's just kind of like we could pull this out. It's easy to teach. There's great interactions between everybody.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's just really well done. I love a deck building game. I love dice. It has that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a game my wife also loves.
yeah,
Well, strike that. Producer Audra likes it.
she'll play it.
She'll play it with me, and
Mm,
that's what goes a long way. I haven't gotten past year four,
okay.
but I haven't I haven't played it. I haven't had time to play it. But this is a game that I feel like Harry Potter is one of the brands that people who may not necessarily like games, and may not even like the books, but they like the movies or whatever. I feel like they're just willing to give it a shot. And I think that this is absolutely a gateway game. I think that you can get somebody who isn't a big fan to play this and be like, "Ooh, I like this.
Hmm.
What else is like this? What other kind of games are like that?" And so on and so forth. And it's awesome. It's a goddamn chest that looks like you have Harry's chest. Like it's just so cool.
Hmm.
Presence is awesome. And I just love it.
Yeah, and as you kind of mentioned, easeability gateway game accessible, where I love these type of games that as you play, it introduces the rules. I think more games need to do that to
Yes.
create a level one. This is how you play. Here's the basic mechanics. Next year, same mechanics you have. Here's a slightly different mechanic, or here's something to make it a little tougher. And it ramps
Absolutely.
up and amps. I love that in games because my biggest way of teaching games is let's just play around. Like,
Hmm.
let me show you how to do this. I think this game uses it magnificently, where it's like year one of Harry Potter, deck battle, whatever, Hogwarts battle. Here's the basic setup. You fight Crab and Goyle and Malfoy. They're super easy. Boom, boom, boom. You got the basics. Let's go to year two.
Yep.
I think year two has what? Just one, two more villains that have some
I
slightly different mechanics.
think the basilisk and Lucius.
Lucius. And in year three, you put out two villains. So all right, you just gotta navigate a little bit different. We had some cards with some different things, nothing too crazy. And every year it ramps up and it slowly builds you towards the end game. Where like if year seven was the game,
Hmm.
forget it. People would be losing their minds. Like, I gotta roll dice, I gotta do what, I gotta do this. Like, so it does
Yeah.
really well and thematically makes sense of where year one, Harry just had to fight Quarrel with his little whatever, and then the bullies, and then by year seven, he's fighting the darkest wizard of all time, and that's how this game flows. It you learn more magic. It's just thematically it fits. But I think more games need to have that level one. Here's basic gameplay. Like I
Absolutely.
think it's just such a good cool idea for gaming.
Mm-hmm. Just like the Pokemon Battle. I mean, that's the best way to learn the game.
Yeah. Pokemon Battle Academy was a great way. Um,
So
a game
yeah,
that I'll introduce you soon has a very similar setup and introduction, and why it's a game that I enjoy and hopefully you'll enjoy. But I'm hoping that's something that companies start doing more of, especially these type of games that aren't for gamers.
yeah,
They do this very easy introduction to make
absolutely.
games a little more accessible for people.
Yeah, 100%. And people are be willing to give it a shot. So
Yeah,
for that reason, Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle is our number one game.
yeah. From USAopoly, now the OP.
The OP. Yep.
The OP.
So that is our season 3 games ranking.
Yeah.
Just real quick, would you be able to kind of run through those 7 films and rank? Like, you don't got to give me a description, just kind of put them in a quick order of what you would kind of put them, like rank
The
them.
7 movies that the games are based on,
Yeah.
or
So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
like, I'll go first.
go. Yeah.
So I have at number 7 Fast and Furious, 6 Jaws, 5 Jurassic Park, 4 a little unfair. So I that it's a whole franchise, but Harry Potter franchise. I did put 4. It would probably be closer to the top. But I was just I really was blown away by how much I enjoyed Alien. So I have Alien 3, Back to the Future at number 2, and Oz at 1.
Okay. I would go Fast and Furious 7. I would go. I ain't gonna hate me for it, but probably Wizard of Oz 6.
Gasp.
It's going by my nostalgia berries, and then probably Harry Potter, and then I think Jurassic Park, Alien, Jaws, and then Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I think just from pure nostalgia, like
That makes sense.
those are movies I grew up on.
If you would have told me to do it, I would have known that would have been your ranking.
That would be my list. Yeah, like I enjoy the Harry Potter movies, but I didn't grow up with them.
Right.
They're not as prevalent in my zeitgeist of
That makes
movie
sense.
pop culture.
That makes sense.
All right, so I don't want to just end it there. I do have some Disney news and board game news. So D23 is coming up, so the 9th. One of the big games are actually to talk about. They might talk about our games, but a game that was announced with no real news or pictures or anything is a game called Lorcana. So Lorcana is going to be a trading card game, much in the vein of Pokemon and Magic the Gathering.
From Disney?
From Disney and Ravensburger. So Ravensburger isn't really in the TCG, CCG world. The only description we have is the game is set in a rich, fantastical world of Lorcana, and you play a powerful sorcerer known as a Lumineer, and you band together Disney characters from the Great Illuminary, which is a treasury of all Disney songs and stories ever made. So I think it sounds pretty cool. Like I love mixing and matching. So this could be a really cool trading card game if it plays like Magic, like basic Magic mechanics where you're having a deck with I don't like sea creatures like Sebastian, Little Mermaid, like is your blue deck. Yeah. And you have a dark deck, which could be all the villains. Like I think it could be really cool.
I would be so in. I enjoyed Magic a lot when we played, and just factor in Disney, and it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
count me in. 100% count me in.
I'm curious. I don't know. Like
I hope it's geared more towards teens and adults than children.
I hope it's in the middle. Like I hope it's more of a basic trading card game. Like I hope it's at the level of not even Magic's easy. I hope it's more like geared toward a very Pokemon type crowd. Yeah. Like Pokemon is an easy card game. It's very children oriented, but it's still tricky. Like you can still do a lot of cool things while still being very basic. Magic has that as well, but on a competitive level, you have to like really be able to make those combos pop and whatnot. Magic is brutal sometimes, depending on who you're playing. So I think that'd be cool. I think it could be basically instead of lands and magic, you're building
Count me
up
in, man.
songs or like spells. So I'm curious as that comes out, more news comes out. I'll definitely be featuring that. I think that's an interesting idea, and I'm curious how Ravensburger is going to handle it because they're not, like I said, they don't really have any stake in the collectible card game.
They'll knock it out of the park. They always do.
Yeah, they did well with Villainous, so I'm hoping it's the same art style, like that painted. If I see a screenshot, I'm gonna be pissed. I don't want any screenshots.
Pumped for D23 as well.
Yeah, I'm pumped for D23 too. Get some sweet Marvel and some Marvel news. Maybe Thunderbolts and.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a Thunderbolt announcement, and I think we're going to get another trailer, and then I think we're going to get a Fantastic Four official announcement.
Yeah, that'll be big. But we'll save that for previously recorded.
Yep, that'll probably be previously recorded next episode.
Yeah. So something came up on my radar literally before we started recording. And I thought it'd be an interesting topic to kind of talk about it because you and I are content creators. And before we actually started creating the podcast, we kind of talked about what our audience was going to be, if we were going to be a clean podcast or more dirty, quote unquote, dirty with cursing and whatnot. And we just kind of said, like, all right, well, we're just going to stick with clean. So we have a few episodes where we do curse, but that's whatever. So I came up on this creator who created a comic book, and his name is and he's claiming he got banned from Dice Tower West convention over YouTube commentary. Are you aware of what Dice Tower is?
The YouTube channel?
Yeah. So you've come across the YouTube channel Dice Tower. Tom Vassell runs it. He's
the
big.
Hat guy.
Yep, they got the hat, the glasses, suspenders. So Tom Vassell, Dice Tower, I mean, are pretty much how I got into gaming. I think a lot of people will contribute their podcast and their YouTube to a lot of reviews, and a lot of people really are involved in that community. So this guy, I read the whole article, and he claimed that like they got blackballed from the convention, and he's a Christian and conservative and all, and he's blaming that. But he also has a video out where he's ranking the 5 hottest board gamer girls.
Okay.
Or it's just like, what are you doing?
What are you doing, dude?
What are you doing? And it's just very weird. And I watched the video, and it was fine. Like, it wasn't anything too bad, but then he starts talking about Gnarly Carly, who we know from the Instagram.
Yep.
And he's just like, oh, like, we know why she's not my number one. It has this a picture of her, and it's just like two big reasons why. And it's just like,
oh, come on, dude, grow up.
Yeah.
Like, you're making a video out of it. Yeah, he should be banned. What are you doing? This is a very inclusive environment. What are you doing making people feel not included or subjected because of their gender, the way their body look? Get the hell out of here with that.
Yeah,
rightfully so. Not included in the Dice Tower, whatever you call it. Yeah. There's no need for that. And if he's such a good Christian, what the hell is he doing? Ranking other women.
And it's just like, whatever. Like, there's beautiful women out there, but it's like, these are wives and whatnot. So it's like, I can understand, like, and it like I said, it created a good conversation for you and I, because we kind of talk about that with like producer Audra. Like, we haven't really had my wife or producer Audra like involved too much picture wise, because guys are creeps. Like, it's just like,
look, full disclosure, there is an aspect of this community where people just go and follow. There's look, no matter what industry you're in, sex sells. I don't care what anybody says. This is straight money 101. But there's 98% of the people in this community are here to see pictures of your board games or you playing your board games. They don't need to see a hot shirtless guy holding a board game or a woman who is showing her chest, whatever. Some people go and look for that specifically, and some don't. And some people accuse other women of doing it just because of how they look and how they pose, when it's just them being unique and playing their game.
It's just being them. It's just dressing. They're just
Yeah,
wearing dresses because that actually happened to Gnarly Carly, where she, like, someone commented and been like, "Oh, like, why are you putting this up?" And it was just her wearing a shirt, like,
yeah.
and
Like
she
she's living her
was,
life. She
yeah,
has a very successful Instagram page,
yep.
and she
Haters gonna
has,
hate.
and haters are going to hate. And also, she has faced a lot of sexism towards her
Mm-hmm.
for her post. And it's just like she can do whatever she wants.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. These are people, and they don't treat them that way. They treat them like they're
Yeah.
objects. It's just things that anger me. So we chose to be inclusive in the way that we speak, to be
Mm-hmm.
clean, to be accepting of all people, and to post what we love and not try and sell you guys something.
Mm-hmm.
We're posting you things that, well, I'm not posting anything. You post everything, but
Mm-hmm.
you're posting what we enjoy. You have a lot of fun of making the backdrops for the games, and setting the games up, and making it look really, really nice. We're showing you the aspects of the game we love.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And like, let's be clear, like, we are kind of corporate. Like, I mean,
yeah,
we do have a sponsor. We have made decisions on our brand and how we
mm,
want to present ourselves. And this guy wants to present himself. If that's his brand, then I am 100% for it. I'm 100 for free speech, whatever. But don't be shocked when you get called out for it, or like you have people that don't like that. Like, don't be like, whoa, what? Like, understand that you're doing something. Like, you have your own brand. He has a comic book that he's kickstarting, and guess what? Like, people are gonna react negative to that.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, you could think you want to make your own top five on a piece of paper at home and like share it with your friends. That's great,
yeah.
but it's like, you are a brand. We are the Gateway Gamers. We have a brand that we decided this is what we're gonna do. We had someone who reached out, was trying to have us review their game, and it wasn't a game that lined up with us and how we were presenting ourselves. I don't know if you remember that. It was a while ago. It was all, he had a great game. He put 100% into it. But it was like a very satire heavy, like,
So
Nazi, and
yeah,
like it was. I understood what it was, but it just
mhm.
wasn't our brand. And he was 100% receptive. He reached out, was like, "Hey, I'd like you to review," and I said, I think you have a great game. It's just not for our audience." And he was like, "I respect that. All right, no problem." And I was great. What a good dude. Like, he didn't get mad.
Yeah, we
Like, it
had
just.
we had the same thing happen over a previously recorded. Year and a half ago, we had somebody reach out. It was a publisher, it was this author's, I guess that his editor or maybe his publicist or whatever, and wanted to reach out and see if we could bring him on for an interview on previously recorded. And I forget the guy's name. So I was just like, oh, wait, this is really cool. She found us through like some hashtags in our Instagram
Mhm.
and whatnot. And I went on to search him. He's an Amazon looks bookseller, and he had a book called How the South Will Win the How the South Will Win the War or Reclaim the United States or something like that, where
Okay.
it was kind of it was referencing the Civil War with the South and everything, and it was like 600-page book. And I'm like, no way. There's no way in hell that I'm inviting this guy on my podcast. And she said, here, take a look at it. And she sent me the video, and it was a video flipping through the book, and it just said they won't. It was 600 pages of they won't. So it was a joke book, but it doesn't
Mm,
say that anywhere on the Amazon listing.
mm,
So I immediately was just like, no, turns out this guy doesn't have those views that I don't want represented on my show.
yeah,
But that leaves us open to criticisms and people thinking that we do think that way
yeah,
based on this joke. And same response. We totally understand, no problem. Blah blah blah. And here, this guy was just really just a film fan, and this was like a gag book, but it was underneath his name. But we chose to not associate with that because
yeah.
we are
And there's an
quote
audience for
unquote
that, and
corporate.
he'll find it, and that's
Yeah.
great.
If
But it's
you
just,
know,
it's not the audience that we're promoting for. That's
no, and
all.
if you, it's literally a gag gift. And
Mm-hmm.
if I had, if it's advertised itself as a gag gift, and like in the Amazon listing, okay, we're a different story here. but it's just like one of those things that we are somewhat corporate, where we handle ourselves, because the way that you perceive yourself online is how you are perceived in real life. And that's just not who we are.
I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
So it's like, that makes it even harder. Yeah.
You're a teacher. I have a corporate job. It's just,
luckily, my name is ungoogleable. So if you type in Brian Marvel, you get like Marvel Comics, you get Captain Marvel, you get Billy Batson. Also, I found out recently there's a Brian Marvel that lives out in like Arkansas, and he is Bizarro Brian. He's a family man. He's a like spiritual preacher. He wrote a book. Like I'm trying. I reached out to him. I want him to send me a copy so I can like autograph it. And I'm like, does that count?
That's awesome. You are Brian Marvel.
Yeah. So I luckily in that sense. Yeah. Luckily, I haven't had it. Strangely enough, I had one parent. It was in June. It was like the kid's last day, and my mom was like, "Oh, like thanks for being a teacher. Like he really loved your class." I was like, "Oh, thanks for so much." She's like, "Oh, by the way, I listened to your podcast. Great job." And I was like, "Hell," I was like, "I don't tell parents about it. Like I have coworkers I kind of know, but I'm not." Only because again, it's just not that we're sounding crazy on here, but it's like I don't need it. My Facebook is private, my Instagram is private. I don't want parents to it's not that I have this wild persona, but it's like I just don't want them seeing me up here in a picture and just judge me.
This is a private thing that you somewhat do. It's very public. But this is something that you don't need. Like that's why I don't necessarily like some of my coworkers know about it, but I don't have like a sticker on my water bottle or anything, because this is something that this is perfectly fine. Previously recorded, there's a lot of curse words and things of that nature that I don't necessarily need people knowing about. I want my friends and I want people to find it, but so it's just how you present yourself, and so this is how that
disassociated myself from pre-record. I've edited out any appearance from mine.
But he's judging people based on their love of board games and what they look like, and that's wrong, and especially on YouTube.
I think sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but I think I read, because I looked more into it, because he wrote the article, so it was his side of the story, and I like getting both sides. Where apparently there was other videos where he was like kind of talking about DC Comics and all the choices that they're kind of making. I'm just like, man, it's bad business. Like, even if you don't agree, keep it to yourself. Or if that's your audience, that's your audience. And don't get mad when people don't agree with you.
But also, if you don't agree, there's a way to do it. There's a way to respectfully and intelligently say that you don't agree with a direction a comic book company is taking. But to just be straight ignorant, that doesn't fly with me. And that's not how I roll.
So now let's rank our top 5 hottest gamer girls. Now that we're done.
Well, my wife, your wife. No, just kidding. Of course. That's it. The loves of our lives. That's who we love.
Yeah. But again, I agree with free speech. That guy could do what he want, but don't act like, oh, what? Like, you know what? You don't, like, it's just, you're a brand, dude. You're a brand. They're a brand. They don't want to be associated with you. That's not their beliefs. Like, that's
consequences for your actions, man. Yeah. That's all it is.
We do some wild stuff on here, and Rescue Wix cuts us off. That's it, man. Like, it's just, there goes the lights. The lights are off.
But I think that about does it for us here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a solid episode again, as always. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Like our Instagram, Gateway Gamers Pod. Like Previously Recorded, which is RP's other project. I've appeared on it here and there. If you enjoyed our movie talk that we kind of did, they do a lot more movie talk over there. They do a lot of pop culture stuff. It's a great job. It's our network. Be sure to visit.
There's a lot of episodes with just Brian and I on Previously Recorded as well. If you maybe don't enjoy some of the formats that we do, but the episodes with me and Brian are very much just like this. And remember to check out the Redbubble store and the TeePublic store.
Yeah, Redbubble, TeePublic. There's stickers on there, shirts, hats. It goes a long way. If you are a listener, not even just to us, to anybody, we've said it 100 times. And I was the same way before having my own podcast. I never liked or commented or rate it like a podcast, but it goes a long way. If you are a fan, give them 5 stars, comment on their Instagram every once in a while, buy their stickers are like $2. Like it means a lot. It really does. And it helps. It really does help. Like that little sum of money that comes in is something.
It's
And
not
even not the money, just the 5 stars, it's huge. Like it bumps us up on the list. We're more noticed. Our audience could grow. It makes us feel good. It's a nice shot of whatever that chemical is to the brain. Serotonin.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I was going to say. It's not about the money. You know, when you guys buy something, it's great. The financial support helps, but it's just knowing that there's somebody out there that looks forward to listening to us talk.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's some days where we're like, God, I don't like, do we just skip a week? And then we, you know, seeing stuff like that where it reminds us of why we like to do it, and that also people enjoy what we do.
Yeah. And again, not just us, anyone you listen to, any podcast. Like,
absolutely.
It takes 2 seconds to give 5 stars. You don't have to write a review.
Nope.
Or if it's a podcast you listen to a while and they're kind of slacking, give them 3 stars and say, hey, you haven't done this a while, or hey, they do look and listen. I mean, unless they're huge, unless they're like a billion,
like
likes,
unless it's,
but
you know, what's like the biggest podcast right now? I think
How This Get Made, like
How This Get Made, Smartless. It's they're probably
they may not
going to narrow it down, but we will. We absolutely will. And
so we get a 5-star, we get a comment. I'm all about it. I'll text it right to RP. Look, we got another one.
Yeah, I was looking today too. Haven't got one in a while, so help us out, listeners.
That's your cue.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
But
as always, thank you. That's it. We love this. We really are having fun.
Yep, and we love you all.
Yeah, we're our schedule is getting a bit busier coming up, so there there's
going to be some slight changes, I think, potentially through the rest of the year. But if there is a change, you guys will be the first to know about it.
Yeah, there may be some solo episodes coming up if I can navigate that.
Starring Brian Marvel.
Just me on the mic, kind of talking through some solo games or whatever I feel like talking about.
Solo topic bonanza. Just spin a wheel. And pick it out whatever you want.
Maybe I'll reach out to some other people and actually have guests on, even though. So behind the scenes, behind the curtains, we tried to have some people on the summer. It just kind of didn't work out for different reasons. It's tougher than you think, man. Being a full-time podcaster is work. And we are not that.
Nope. And you know, the crossovers that I've done, having guests on, it takes a lot of work.
It's like, I'm available Thursday morning, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Like, what? I'm sleeping. Like,
it's work. It's 100% work. It's all. There's nothing more to say about it. So respect to people who do this 4 times, multiple days a week.
I can't imagine.
Nope, I cannot, and I do not want to imagine.
Nope, no. Blockbuster Summer is eye-opening enough.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, friends. We are off the Blockbuster Summer format. Look forward to more games, more surprises for RP, which is my favorite thing I love introducing. Going back to that format of RP's a noob gamer and introducing new games to him.
Yep. And you're welcome
looking forward to a new season.
You're welcome to coming at you 14 weeks straight.
Yeah. It took me a second. I was like, we did come 14 weeks straight. Yeah, you are welcome.
Yeah, you are
not
absolutely
thank you.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. 7 games, 2 episodes a game. So you guys are welcome.
And for the final time this summer, be kind.
Subscribe.
Bye, everyone.